This is a bit off my usual topic, but I've been thinking about energy and power and the energy crisis, as people call it. And one of the things I've been thinking about in that is in relation to some reading I've been doing about the psychology of economics, or what's it called, evolutionary economics, that kind of thing. Particularly in relation to things like value, because it seems to me, certainly in the UK, one of the ways in which we try to address energy shortages, or try to lower emissions by lowering the amount of energy that's used, that kind of thing. The chief way in which we do that is through prices. And it makes kind of sense. You increase the price of energy, the notion goes that people buy it less or use it less, and all of the benefits supposedly flow from that. But it seems to me there's a bit of a flaw in that, really, is that when you increase the price of something, effectively you're increasing the value of that thing. And the psychology of value, or value as it figures within economic psychology, is that value is what people want. People want things that are valuable, by definition, really. So if you increase the value of something, you don't decrease its desirability, you increase its desirability. So increasing the value of energy by increasing its price doesn't decrease its desirability, it increases it. So people desire to use more energy, and it features within. It becomes increasingly part of a set of signs and statements to do with luxury and to do with conspicuous consumption and all those kind of things. Leaving the lights on, whilst on the one hand is it's not something you're not supposed to do. It is also a sign, a very visible sign, that you could afford to leave the lights on. I think this was actually prompted by one of the videos by AmazingAtheist that I watched a couple of weeks ago now, probably. I can't remember the name of it. It had the word "you" in the title. It might come back to me. But he was sitting on his deck. It wasn't anything to do with energy. He was sitting on his deck talking about just what it's like to talk to a camera, and how different it is, and how much easier it is to talk to, in his case, tens of thousands of people on YouTube. How easy that is compared to just being observed talking to a camera by one person in real life. But that's, as a side issue on that, or just as an off-the-cuff comment, he talked about people down below in the yards he was overlooking, hanging their washing on washing lines. And he made this comment, which was to do with something like, I can afford a dryer. The implication being these people who were hanging their washing on the line below couldn't afford dryers. I think that's a particularly US concept. We don't really have that so much in the States. Hanging your washing on a line doesn't have negative connotations here, and I think the way it does in at least some parts of the States, it doesn't associate quite with poverty and squalor in the way that's kind of implied in that. But I think in that there is that idea that consumption of energy is a signifier that you are not poverty stricken, that currency is currency, if you like, that your ability to use current is your access to currency, your access to liquidity, your flotation value. All those things kind of flow out from that, I think. So I suspect, maybe there isn't an energy crisis, what do I know? But I suspect that to the extent that there is certain problems with energy, at least how it's derived at the moment and how it's expended at the moment, and to the extent that those need to be fixed through economic means, it seems to me that that increasing the value of electricity, or the value of any kind of energy source, is not necessarily going to have a positive effect. It might have a negative effect, because increasing the value increases the desirability. If I was going to propose an alternative, and this is a bit radical, it would be rationing, actually. I would ration electricity, I would ration access to power, but I would set the bar on the rations unfeasibly high, so that only the top 0.1% of the population were ever affected by that rationing. I would probably lower the price of energy as well, subsidise it massively, so everybody could use it, and it was relatively easy. Everybody could increase their consumption up to this high high limit on individual rations, and you couldn't go above the ration, no matter how much cash you had. It could never become a luxury item that you just had to spell out for. Once you got to the limit, which is a really high limit, you'd have to leave every power source in your massive 25-bedroom home blazing and whirring and blending and washing and drying and doing all those things 24 hours a day to get to that. But even so, once you got to it, you couldn't go beyond it. It just cuts off and that's it. I think that's how I would do it. I would institute rationing.